June 2018 was an amazing experience for me playing Warframe. This was the release of the Sacrifice quest, which features a couple of cool things. And the best part is, you all received it for free. First, you get a new variation of Excalibur, named Excalibur Umbra, and you get a new Nikana, which is now one of the best weapons used to level up your Warframes fast. I know some of you won't agree, but I honestly think that the Sacrifice quest is one of the best when it comes to story. It tells us a glimpse of how Warframes are made, some backstory about sentience, and it's probably the quest that opens up the beginning of the new war. I know it's not exactly the beginning, but when Lotus said she's coming home, you can feel the weight in your shoulder of either saving her, or fighting her with all her sentient armies. It was a very entertaining experience, and the best part about all of that experience is you get Excalibur Umbra, a warframe that can think and act without the help of the operator. Yes, for sure it's just an Excalibur with artificial intelligence, a new skin, but the same set of abilities. However, the community was very pleased about it, since the design of this frame is unique, and the quest brought some memorable experience along with it. In fact, many jumps into the Umbra bandwagon, and many are hoping that their favorite frames will get an Umbra version soon. Well, you can't blame them, since one of the developer, during the announcement of Excalibur Umbra, said that there will be more Umbra warframes in the future. This led to many speculating who will be the next Umbra warframe. So, who is next to get an Umbra version? The developer did say that there will be more Umbra warframes, but they clearly stated that not all frames will get an Umbra version. If we based it on the Sacrifice quest's story, Umbra warframes are made through infested means. The makers, one of them is Balaz, has forced the infested into a living person to create a war machine, but their cruelty did not stop there. They also gave the Umbra frame one memory, and for Excalibur Umbra, Balaz gave the memory of killing his own son, and Excalibur Umbra relived this moment over and over again. So basically, if we follow this synopsis, then we can assume that there are two criteria for a frame to get an Umbra version next. One is being infested, which every warframes can be, and the other one is having one memory. If you have played through the different available story quests of each frames, then there are a few that displays such characteristics. One is Nidus, but squad leader, Nidus is already infested. That is true, but this is one frame that could potentially be getting an Umbra version. It's interesting to see a story about the origin of the infested, how they are created, and where it all started. It would be a good choice for Digital Extremes to involve Nidus, and give him an Umbra version for this questline. Because honestly, a Prime version of Nidus doesn't make any sense. If we stick into the lore, then Primes and Infested don't mix well, and it would make sense that an Umbra version of Nidus will be created. However, that's only me judging it on how the story in this game goes. If we factor also money making, then probably Nidus Prime will exist. Another noteworthy frame is Inaros. Well, we already got Inaros Prime, and this frame is very unlikely to get an Umbra version. However, if you played through this frame's questline, then you will notice that Inaros has the same characteristic with Excalibur Umbra, and that is having a memory. In the case of Inaros, he got the memory of saving the Sand People, and the memory of having to see what the Orogins can do. These are all in the Sands of Inaros quest, and if we are going to make this memory as a basis, then it's not a far-fetched idea of creating Inaros Umbra. It would be cool if this frame will get an Umbra version, and somehow Digital Extremes would give his abilities and Umbra treatment. I'm not suggesting a complete rework, but if somehow Digital Extremes would make one of his ability, say, his Sandstorm better, then players will definitely dig this Inaros Umbra idea. The last one would be Limbo. Just like Inaros, Limbo also exhibit the same characteristic as Excalibur Umbra. In the Limbo's theorem storyline, players will play through several stages to discover a mysterious theorem, and in this quest, you will discover that Limbo tears himself apart. This was his memory, and I'm kind of intrigued about getting the full backstory on why he did that. These are just 3 of the warframes I have in mind that are getting an Umbra version. If we will base it on the qualities of Excalibur Umbra, it's easy to formulate a story wherein how frame gets injected with infested hormones, but it would be very hard giving every warframe a backstory about one memory that they will relive for the rest of their existence. I mean, it's not impossible, but if we are just going to base it on what we know so far, then these 3 frames would get an Umbra version. However, it's just speculations, and there are other factors that would affect Digital Extremes' decision on who will get an Umbra version. Factors like money, resources, and Warframe popularity would also affect their decisions. The Sacrifice quest was a big hit, because you get free items after finishing the quest. Not just blueprints, but the whole thing. You get Excalibur Umbra, and you get the Skijati also. It may increase the interest of the player base to dive into the game, but at the end of the day, the developer wants to make some profit from it somehow. That is why I'm not convinced that they will follow the law. Instead of doing this, Digital Extremes could just do some Umbra frames to those vanilla Warframes. There are 8 vanilla Warframes, or those frames that are included during this game's release: Ash, Ember, Excalibur, Loki, Mag, Rhino, Trinity, and Volt. If Digital Extremes will release Ash Umbra, Ember Umbra, Loki Umbra, Mag Umbra, Rhino Umbra, Trinity Umbra, and Volt Umbra, then it will also be a good move, since honestly, some vanilla Warframes needs good exposure since they are becoming obsolete to the eyes of newer players, because of the new frames that are coming lately. The fact is, most of the frames released these days overshadow those past Warframes by a mile, because most of the vanilla frames' abilities are not that eye-catching. It's true that vanilla frames are still useful, but admit it or not, they are very old, and Digital Extremes need to rejuvenate these frames so somehow they will appeal to the player base more. Umbra versions of vanilla frames will be the second coming of these Warframes, and I'm hoping that they will not just do vanilla frames, but extend to Nyx Umbra, Frost Umbra, Banshee Umbra, and Sarin Umbra, especially Sarin. If Nidus won't get Umbra, then an infested storyline for Sarin Umbra would also be good. But then again, these are just speculations. This is what Warframe do to a content creator who doesn't have any content, just speculate. I'm just kidding. I know it's kind of odd seeing my channel do this kind of stuff, since I'm more focused on builds and combos. Honestly, I've been replaying the storyline quest lately, and I'm finding a lot of chunky information about Warframe. The lore in this game is very interesting, and if Digital Extremes will somehow make a good storyline progression, then Warframe will be better. This is another thing I like about the game. It's not just a boring grind, but you have plenty of stuff that you can discover and collect. In my case, I'm slowly discovering the full lore of the game right now, and having some daydreams and fantasies on what will happen next to our mass murderer Space Kid. There will be more videos like this, but it will just be once in a while if I have time and something to share with you. But I hope you enjoy videos like this on my channel. Also, before I let you go, I would like to tell you that some of my videos may contain sponsorship ads from now on. Not Warframe related though, but something you might find interesting. If you hate it, then just skip it. Sponsors are one of the reasons why this channel still exists, because honestly, YouTube sometimes is a tough egg to crack. They tell you that it's better to do 10 minutes video, but I don't want to make a freaking 10 minutes video if it's only a guide on how to bullet jump in Warframe. I know you get the idea, and I truly appreciate your love and support. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Squad Leader signing off.
This is the future. Human error. Evolution. This is the future.